It's quite all right. You're not disturbing me. I would much rather talk than write. Yeah, here I am, day after day, haunted by one thought. I must write. I must write. I must write. This is my study. The room in which I write my stories. I built it myself, actually. Cut the timber and fitted the logs. Made an awful mess of it. I do my writing here at the side of the room because the roof leaks directly over it, and I'd moved the desk, but it covers a hole I left in the floor, and the floor is built into the side of a hill, so during heavy rains, the room tends to slide downhill. Many's the day I've stood in this cabin and passed my neighbor standing in the road. Still, I'm happy here. Although I don't get enough visitors to me, people tend to always shy away from writers. They always assume we're busy thinking. Not true. Even my dear sweet mother would tiptoe up here and leave my food outside the door. I haven't had a hot meal in years. But I've done a good deal of writing in here. Perhaps too much. I look out the window and think that life is passing me at a furious rate, so I ask myself this question. What force is it that compels me to write so incessantly, day after day, page after page, story after story? And then it's quite simple. I have no choice. I'm a writer. Oh, I do think I'm mad. Oh, but I am quite harmless. But I do engage the fits of wanderings. I'm engaged in conversations where I hear nothing and see only the silent movement of lips and answer with a meaningless yes, yes, of course. And all the while I'm thinking, he'll make a wonderful character for a story, this one. And I enjoy writing while I do it. And I like reading the proofs, but as soon as I see it in print, I see that it's all wrong, a mistake, that it ought to have never happened, and I am miserable. And then the public reads it. Yes, charming and clever. Charming, but a far cry from Tolstoy, or a fine thing, but Turgenev's Fathers and Sons would be better. And it'll be to my dying day, charming and clever, charming and clever. And when I die, my friends will walk by my grave and say, here lies so-and-so, a good writer, but Turgenev was better. It's funny, but before you came in, I was thinking to myself, what if I gave it all up one day? What would I do instead? Well, I am here in the theater tonight to tell you I would like to do most with my life. Ever since I was a small child, I was, excuse me a moment. Make me a note. Yes. An idea just occurred to me, a subject for a short story. It was my mentioning of the theater that sparked me. What were we talking about a moment ago? No matter, my thoughts are consumed with this new story.
Julia!
A young governess, Julia, comes rushing in. She stops before the desk and curtsies.
Yes, madame?
Look at me, child. Pick your head up. I want to see your eyes when I speak to you. And how are the children coming along with their French lessons?
They're very bright children, madame.
They're bright, you say. Well, why not? And mathematics. I assume they're doing well in mathematics.
Yes, madame, especially Vanya.
Certainly. I knew it. I excelled in mathematics. He gets it from his mother, wouldn't you say?
Yes, madame.
Head up. That's it, dear. Don't be afraid to look people in the eyes. If you think yourself superior, it's exactly how people will treat you.
Yes, ma'am.
Quiet girl, aren't you? Now then, let's settle the accounts. I assume you must need money, although you never asked me for it yourself. Let's see, we agreed on 30 rubles a month. Did we not?
40, ma'am.
No, 30. I made a note of it. I always pay my governess 30. Who told you 40?
You did, ma'am. I spoke to no one else concerning money.
Impossible. Maybe you thought you heard 30 when I said, maybe you thought you heard 40 when I said 30. If you kept your head up, things like this would never happen. Look at me again and I'll say it clearly. 30 rubles a month.
If you say so, ma'am.
Settled. 30 a month it is. Now then, you've been here 2 months exactly.
2 months and 5 days, ma'am.
No. 2 months. I made a note of it. You should keep your books the way I do, so discrepancies like these would never happen. So we have 2 months, and 30 rubles a month comes to 60 rubles, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Plus, subtract 9 Sundays. We did agree to subtract Sundays, didn't we?
No, ma'am.
Think.
No, ma'am.
You weren't thinking. Your eyes were wandering. Look at my face and look at it hard. Do you remember now?
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't hear you, Julia.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. I was sure you'd remember. Plus, free holidays, correct?
2, ma'am. Christmas and New Year's.
And your birthday. That's free.
I worked on my birthday, ma'am.
You did? There was no need to. My governess never work on their birthdays.
But I did work, ma'am.
Julia, that's not the question. We discuss financial matters now. I will, however, only count 2 holidays if you insist. Do you insist?
I did work, ma'am.
Then you insist.
No, ma'am.
Very well. Free holidays. Therefore, we take off 12 rubles. Ah, yes. 4 days Lokoya's sick, and there were no lessons taught.
But I gave lessons to Vanya.
True, but I engaged you to teach 2 children, not 1. Should I pay you in full for only doing half the work?
No, ma'am.
So deduct it. Now, 3 days you had a toothache, and my husband gave you permission to not work after lunch.
After 4, I worked until 4.
We have lunch at 1 and are finished at 2, not 4, correct?
Yes, ma'am, but
Another 7 rubles. 7 and 12 is 19. Subtract, that leaves 41 rubles, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Now then, January 4th, you broke a teacup and a saucer. Is that
Yes.
true? What is a good teacup but a saucer? Another 2 rubles. The saucer was heirloom. It cost much more. But I'm used to taking losses.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now then, January 9th, Koya climbed a tree and tore his jacket.
I forbid him to do so, ma'am.
But he didn't listen, did he? 10 rubles. January 14th, Vanya's shoes were stolen.
By the maid, ma'am. You discharged her yourself.
But you get paid good money to watch everything that happens. I explained that in our first meeting. Perhaps you weren't listening, Julia. Were you listening that day? Was your head in the clouds?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, your head was in the clouds.
No, ma'am. I was listening.
Good girl. So it's another 5 rubles. Ah, yes. The 16th of January, I gave you 10 rubles.
You didn't.
But I made a note of it. Why would I make a note of it if I didn't give it to you?
I don't know, ma'am.
That's not a satisfactory answer, Julia. Why would I make a note of giving you 10 rubles if I did not, in fact, give it to you? No answer. But I must have given to you, must I?
Yes, ma'am. If you say so, ma'am.
Well, certainly I say so. That's a pointless little talk to clear these matters up. Take another 27 from 41, that leaves 14, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
What's this? Tears. Are you crying? Has something made you upset? Julia, please tell me. It pains me to see you like this. What is it?
Well, only once since I've been here have I been given any money, and that was by your husband. On my birthday, he gave me 3 rubles.
Really? There's no note of it in my book. I'll put it down now. 3 rubles. Thank you for telling me. Sometimes I'm a little lax on the accounts. Always shortchanging myself. So we take 3 more from 14, that leaves 11 rubles. Do you wish to check my figures?
There's no need, ma'am.
Then we're all settled. Here's your salary for 2 months. 11 rubles. Count it.
It's not necessary, ma'am.
Come on, let's keep the record straight. Count it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's only 10 here, ma'am.
Are you sure? Possibly you dropped one. Look on the floor to see there's a coin there.
I didn't drop any, ma'am. I'm quite sure.
Well, it's not here on my desk, and I know for a fact I gave you 11 rubles. Look on the floor.
It's all right, ma'am. 10 rubles will be just fine.
Well, keep the 10 for now. If we don't find it later, we'll discuss it next month.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. You're very kind, ma'am.
Julia, come back here. Why did you thank me?
For the money, ma'am.
For the money? But don't you realize what I've done? I've cheated you, robbed you. I had no such notes in my book. I made up whatever came to my mind. Instead, the 80 rubles to which I owe you, I gave you only 10. And you still thanked me. Why?
In the other places I've worked, they didn't give me anything at all.
Then they cheated you even worse than I did. I was playing a cruel lesson, a little joke to teach you're much too trusting in a world that's very dangerous. I'm going to give you the entire 80 rubles. Here, it's all ready for you. Take it.
As you wish, ma'am.
Julia, is it possible to be so spineless, so innocent? Why don't you protest? Why don't you speak out? Why don't you cry out against the cruel, unjust treatment? Is it possible to be so guileless? Pardon me for being so blunt, such a simpleton.
Yes, ma'am. It's possible.
The lights come up on the office of a bank official, Kustanov. He enters on a crutch. His right foot is heavily encased in bandages, swelling it to 3 times its normal size. He suffers from the gout and is very careful of any mishap, which would only intensify his pain. He makes it to his desk and sits. An assistant, rather hurried, enters.
Good morning, Mr. Kustanov.
Please lower your voice.
Sorry, sir.
It's just that my gout is acting up again and my nerves like little firecrackers. The least little friction can set them off.
It must be very painful, sir.
Combing my hair this morning was agony.
Mr. Kustanov.
What is it, Puckerton?
There's a woman who insists on seeing you. We can't make heads or tails out of her story, but she insists on seeing the directing manager. But perhaps if you're not well.
No. The business of the bank comes before my minor physical ailments. Show her in, please. Quietly. Come and sit.
Thank you.
Good morning, madam. Forgive me for not standing, but I'm somewhat incapacitated. Now, what can I do for you?
You can help me, sir. I pray to God, you can help me. No one else in this world even seems to care.
Cry, which in turn becomes a wail, the kind of wail that melts the spine of strong men. Kustanov winces and grits his teeth in pain as he grips the arms of his chair.
Calm yourself, madam. I beg of you, please, calm yourself.
I'm sorry.
I'm sure we can sort it all out if we approach the problem sensibly and quietly. Now, what exactly is the trouble?
Well, sir, it's my husband, Collegiate Assessor Shukin. He's been sick for 5 months. 5 agonizing months.
I know the horrors of illness and can sympathize with you, madam. What's the nature of his illness?
It's a nervous disorder. Everything grates on his nerves. If you so much as touch him, he'll scream out. Ah! How or why he got it, nobody knows.
I have an inkling. Please go on a little less descriptively if possible.
Well, while the poor man was lying in bed.
You're not going to scream again, are you?
Not that I don't have cause. While he was recuperating these last 5 months and lying in bed, he was dismissed from his job for no reason at all.
That's a pity, certainly, but I don't quite see the connection.
You don't understand how I suffered during his illness. I nursed him from morning till night, doctored him from night until morning, all while taking care of my children, feeding our dog, our goat, our cat, my sister's bird who was sick.
The bird was sick?
No, my sister. She gets dizzy spells. She's been dizzy a month now, and she's just been getting dizzier every single day.
Extraordinary. However,
I had to take care of her children and her house and her cat and her goat, and then her bird bit one of my children, so our cat bit her bird, and my daughter, the one with the broken arm, drowned my sister's cat, and now my sister wants her goat in exchange, or she says she'll drown my cat or break my oldest daughter's other arm.
yes, well, you've certainly had your pack of troubles, haven't you? But I don't quite see.
And then, when I went to get my husband's pay, they deducted 24 rubles and 36 kopecks. For what? I asked, because they said he borrowed from the employees fund? But that's impossible. He couldn't borrow without my approval. I'd break his arm. Not while he was sick, of course. And I don't have the strength. I'm not very well myself, sir. I have this racking cough. It's such a horrible thing to hear.
I can well understand why your husband took 5 months to recuperate. But what is it you want from me, madam?
What rightfully belongs to my husband is 24 rubles and 36 kopecks. They won't give it to me because I'm a weak and a defenseless woman. Some of them have even laughed in my face, sir, laughed. Where's the humor, I wonder, in a poor defenseless creature like myself?
None. I see none at all. However, madam, I don't wish to be unkind, but I'm afraid you've come to the wrong place. Your petition, no matter how justified, has nothing to do with us. You'll have to go to the agency where your husband was employed.
What do you mean? I've been to 5 agencies already, and none of them will even listen to my petition. I'm about to lose my mind. The hair is coming out of my head. By the fistful, sir, look at my hair. Don't tell me to go to another agency, please.
Please, madam, keep your hair in its proper place. Now, listen to me carefully. This is a bank. A bank, we're in the banking business. We bank money. Funds that are brought here are banked by us. Do you understand what I'm saying?
What are you saying?
I'm saying that I can't help you.
Are you saying that you can't help me?
I'm trying. I don't think I'm making headway.
Are you saying that you won't believe that my husband is sick? Here's the doctor's certificate. There's the proof. Do you still doubt that my husband is suffering from a nervous disorder?
Not only do I not doubt it, I would swear to it.
Look at it. You didn't look at it.
It's really not necessary. I know full well how your husband must be suffering.
What's the point in a doctor's certificate if nobody will even look at it? Look at it!
Oh, yes, I see your husband is sick. It's right here on the doctor's certificate. Well, you certainly have a good case, madam, but I'm afraid you're still come to the wrong place. I'm getting excited.
You lied to me. I took you for a man of your word, and you lied to me.
I lie when?
When you said that you read the doctor's certificate. You couldn't have read the description of my husband's illness without seeing that he was fired unjustly. Don't take advantage of me just because I'm a weak and defenseless woman. Do me the simple courtesy of reading the doctor's certificate, and then I'll go.
But I read it. Oh, what's the point in reading something twice when I've already read it once?
You didn't read it carefully.
I read it in detail.
Then you read it too fast. Read it even slower.
I don't have to read it slower. I'm a fast reader.
Maybe you didn't absorb it. Let it sink in this time.
I absorbed it. It sank in. I could pass a test on what's written here, but it doesn't make any difference because it has nothing to do with our bank.
Can you read the part where it says he has a nervous disorder? Read that part again and see if I'm wrong.
That part. Oh, yes, I see. Your husband has a nervous disorder. My, how terrible. Only I can help you. Now, please, go!
I'm sorry, Excellency. I hope that I haven't caused you any pain.
Can't you get this into your balding head? If you would just realize that to come to us with this kind of claim is as strange as you're trying to get a haircut in a butcher shop.
You can't get a haircut in a butcher shop. Why would anyone go to a butcher shop for a haircut? Are you laughing at me?
Laughing? I'm lucky I'm breathing. Pocketin!
Did I tell you that I'm fasting? I haven't eaten in 3 days. I want to eat, but nothing at all stays down. I had the same cup of coffee 3 different times today.
Pocketin!
I'm skin and I'm bones. I faint at the least provocation. Watch. Oh, did you see? Did you see how I just fainted? 8 times a day this happens.
What is it, Mr. Kissinov? What's wrong?
Get her out of here! Who let her in my office?
You did, sir. I asked and you said show her in.
I thought you meant a human being, not a lunatic with a doctor's certificate.
He wouldn't even read it. I gave it to him and he threw it back in my face. You look like a kind person. Have pity on me. You read it and see if my husband is sick or not.
I read it, madam, twice.
Me too. I had to read it twice too.
You just showed it to me outside. You showed it to everyone. We all read it. Even the doorman.
You just looked at it. You didn't read it.
Don't argue. Read it, Pocketin. For God's sake, read it so we can get her out of here.
Oh, yes, it says your husband is sick. Now, will you please leave, or we'll have to get someone to remove you.
Oh, yes. Good. Yes. Good. Remove her. Get the doorman and 2 of the guards. Be careful. She's strong as an ox.
If you touch me, I'll scream so loud they'll hear it all over the city. You'll lose all your depositors. No one will want to come to a bank where they beat weak, defenseless women.
Madam, if we can discuss this in my office.
Get your hands off of me. Do you hear I'm being abused?
I'm not abusing you. I'm just holding your arm.
Beat her, you fool. Kick her while you've got the chance. We'll never get her out of here. Knock her senseless.
A curse on you. A curse on your depositors, on your bank. May the money in your vault turn to onions. May the gold in your cellars turn to potatoes. May your rubles to radishes.
Stop it. I beg of you. Pocketin, give her the money. Give her what she wants. Only get her out of here. Give her anything.
24 rubles and 36 kopecks. That's all that's due me, and that's all that I want.
Come with me. I'll get you your money.
And please, another ruble to get me home. I'd walk, but my ankles are so weak.
Give her enough for a taxi, anything. Only get her out.
God bless you, sir. You're such a kind man. I remove the curse. Curse be gone. Onions to money, potatoes to gold.
Remove her! Oh my God, my hair is falling out.
One other thing, sir. I'll need a letter of recommendation so my husband can get a new job. Don't bother yourself about it today. I'll be back in the morning. God bless you, sir.
She's coming back. She's coming back. She's coming back. She's coming back.
Next actress, please. Next actress.
A young girl enters and walks to the center of the stage. She's quite nervous and clutches her purse for security. She doesn't know where to look or how to behave. This is obviously her first audition. She tries valiantly to smile and give a good impression. She has a handkerchief in her hand and constantly wipes her warm brow.
Name.
What?
Your name.
Oh, Nina.
Mina. Is that it just? Nina.
Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Nina Meklova Zarknaya.
Age.
My age?
Yes, please. That means how old you are.
How old are you looking for?
Couldn't you answer the question simply, please?
Yes, but I want to know. I can be an age you want, 16, 30. In school, I played a 78-year-old woman with rheumatism, and it was very believable. A 79-year-old rheumatic woman told me so herself.
Yes, but I'm not looking for a 78-year-old rheumatic woman. I'm looking for a 22-year-old girl. Now, how old are you?
22, miss.
Really? I would have guessed 27 or 28.
I have a bad head cold, miss. It makes me look older than I appear. Last year when I had influenza, the doctors thought I was 39. I promise I can look 22 when you need it, miss.
Do you have a temperature?
Yes, 103.
Good God! What are you doing walking around the dead of winter of 103 temperature? Go home, child. Go to bed. Come back some other time.
Oh, no, please. I waited 6 months to get this audition, not to mention the 3 months I waited just to get on the 6-month waiting list. If they put me at the end of the list, I'll be 23 and it'll be too late to be 22. Please let me read, miss. I'm feeling much better, really. I think I'm down to 101 now.
I can see you have your heart set on being an actress.
My heart, my soul, the bones in my body, the blood in my vein.
Yes! You had enough of your medical history. Now, what practical experience have you had?
As what?
Well, the thing we're discussing. How much acting experience have you had?
You mean on a stage?
That's a good place as any.
Well, I studied acting for 3 years under Madame Zoblienska.
Do you teach us here in Moscow?
No, in my high school in Odessa, but she was a very great actress herself.
Here in Moscow.
No, in my high school in Odessa.
You are then, strictly speaking, an amateur.
Yes, in Moscow. In Odessa, I'm a professional.
Well, you see, that's all very well, but I need a 22-year-old professional actress here in Moscow. Odessa, although I grant you, a lovely city, theatrically speaking, is not Moscow. I grant you to get some practical experience and take an aspirin.
I've traveled 4 days to get here, miss. Won't you please hear me read?
My dear child, this is very embarrassing.
Even if you do not employ me, just to read for you would be a memory I would cherish forever. If I may be so bold, miss, I think you are one of the greatest living authors in all of Russia.
Really? That's very kind of you. Perhaps you do have a few minutes.
I've read almost everything you've written. The articles, the stories. I love the one about... Dear God, every time I think about it, just cracks me up.
Really? Which one is that?
Of a government sales clerk? Oh God, I laughed for days.
Death of a governor? I don't remember that. What was it about again?
Chibuchikin? The sneezing splatter?
Oh, yes. You found that funny. Strange. I meant it to be sad.
Oh, it was sad. I cried for days. It was tragically funny.
And of everything you've read, what is your favorite?
My very favorite?
Yes. What is it?
Tolstoy's War and Peace.
I didn't write that.
I know, miss, but you asked for my very favorite.
Well, you're an honest little thing, aren't you? It's refreshing. Irritating, but refreshing. Very well. What will you read for me?
I should like to read from the Three Sisters.
Indeed. Which sister?
All of them, if you have the time, that is.
All of them. Why don't you read from the entire play while you're at it?
Oh, thank you, miss. I know all of it. Act 1, Scene 1. We start in the Prozorov's house. It is midday, a large sunshine.
That's not necessary. An expert would do nicely. Thank you.
Yes, miss. I should like to read from the last moment of the play, then.
Good. That shouldn't take too long. Whenever you're ready.
Oh, I've been ready for 6 months, not to mention the 3 months I waited just to get on the 6 months.
Please. Begin.
Yes, miss. Oh, miss, could you please say ta-ra-ra boom de sit on a curb, I may?
Certainly not. Why would I say such an idiotic thing?
I don't know, you wrote it. Shubichkin says it at the end of the play. It would help me greatly if you could just read that one line.
All right. Very well. Whenever you're ready.
And Masha says, oh, listen to that music. They are leaving us. One has gone for good forever. Meanwhile, we are left alone to begin our lives over again. And Irina says, a time will come where we know what this is all for, why there's all this suffering. But soon there will be tears of joy. Meanwhile, we must work and only work. Tomorrow I shall go alone and teach to those who need it. Now it is autumn, soon winter will come. And we must work. Shall I go on?
Please.
And Olga says, the music plays so gaily, so valiantly. One wants to believe, oh my God, my dear sisters. It seems that there is all this pain and suffering, but soon there will be tears and laughter for those who will stay on this earth. They will forget our faces, our voices. But the remark we made here will stay on this earth. Thank you, miss. You've made me very happy. God bless you, miss.
Will someone go get her before she walks all the way back to Odessa?